everybody, welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be a story time, as in a few weeks ago on my update video I said I was going to do a vlog, a challenge and a story time, and technically did a vlog. The vlog got deleted. Didn't do a challenge because this was also up, so I couldn't do the chubby bun challenge with bunny lips anyway, so that cancelled. And this week is going to be a story time, and I'm going to tell you why I don't speak to my dad. Because you've heard about my mum, my sisters, even my brothers, and my stepdad who lives with me, and all of my dogs, but you've probably never heard about my dad. So I'm going to go back to before it all happened, because obviously that's what people do, they go back and discuss what happened. So I was about 6.5 years old when my mum and dad split up, and originally the first time I was living with my dad, but mum and dad still lived together for 2 years because mum couldn't find a house for 2 years, so they lived together but separately. So like for 4 days my mum would be there, and then mum would go to her flat, and then it'd be like that all the time for 2 years, which was, they thought it'd be better for us, which I appreciate, because it probably was better for us to see both of them at all the time and not have to go from house to house when we were that young. Because my youngest sister, who's 16 now, was 2, so it'd been quite a lot to bring a little one all the time. So when I was 8, my sister was 4, and my brother would have been 10 or 11, I can't exactly remember his age. We moved into my mum's house. We were still doing the same thing where we were at dad's all week, mum's at weekend. That stayed for a little bit. And then when I was 11, my dad got remarried and decided he didn't want to do childcare anymore, so it was up to my mum. So we went from staying at our dad's all week and mum's every other weekend, or every weekend, to dad's every weekend and mum's all week. So we had to move school, which was kind of traumatic, like, because me being quiet and shy, I don't really make very many friends. But I did, and I have got some very good friends till this day now, which I'm very glad that happened. So, so that was okay. I got to go to 2 weddings, which was fine. I didn't mind that. Got a lot of cake and sweeties and all these sugary things that you always love. And for the most part, childhood seemed pretty normal. Yeah, my mum and dad had split up, but I had a stepdad, I had a stepmum, and I had, when I wasn't 11 when they got married. I was 11 when the little ones were here. So I think I was about 9 or 10 when they all got married to each other and stuff like that. So I was like 9 when my mum and stepdad got married, and I was 10 when my dad and stepmum got married. I wasn't muddled up with that. And 11, my mum and stepdad had my little sister, who's now 8, nearly 9, which is very, very scary. And my stepmom and dad had my little brother, who's the same age. He'll be 9 at the end of the year too. They are only 6 weeks apart, so for a little bit everyone thought they were twins, because I came back to school saying, oh, I've got a new wee brother and a new wee sister. Are they twins? No. Never really explained why they weren't twins. I just said no. So hopefully they weren't too confused. So that was a very exciting time. So there was a new wee sister, a new wee brother, and everything seemed pretty normal. Everything was fine until I was 16. So that was when I was 11, so that was a long time before that. Until I was 16. And I did have a lovely childhood, but in my head, living with my mum and my stepdad and my sisters and my brother wasn't for me anymore. Like, we were always fighting, we were just arguing with each other constantly. I didn't like it, and I wanted to live with my dad, because I was a daddy's girl. And this is why this story is so sad, because I was such a daddy's girl. I listened to everything he said, all the advice he said, he gave me from when I was 14. So I was 14, and I said to Dad, I really want to move out. I don't want to live with Mum and Dad anymore. I can't cope anymore. It's driving me insane. All that stuff. And he said, oh, don't worry, as soon as you're 16, we'll sort it. You can move in with me, and everything will be fine. So that was the plan for all those years. And I never told Mum, never told my stepdad. I don't think I even told my sister, and that's weird, because I told my sister everything. She was the first person I told I was gay. Like, the very first person I told, oh, I might be gay. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. So I don't know why I never said anything about this. This was when she was like 13 or something, so I didn't really want to mention that I was maybe moving out. So by the time I got to 16, the ball was rolling about me moving out, and because I was 16, I was old enough to leave. I could decide where I wanted to stay now. Well, that's what I was told I could do. So we actually went to see a new high school because I'd had to move school because it was so far away, or I'd have to get buses to my current school, which was it was a trek in itself. So there was no point. And the other thing is, he wasn't always going to be there. He'd be at work or he'd be away seeing his girlfriend. Because by this point, he split up with my little brother's mum, my stepmom. So he was on girlfriend number 3. So he'd be seeing his girlfriend, and he wouldn't be always here, and that was the thing. So I had to really, really think. I was like, is this what I want my next 2 years of high school to be like? Me living at home on my own, pretty much, getting a bus. I've never got a bus to school ever. I've always walked to school. It was a lot of different questions in my head, and I had to figure out if this is really what I wanted my life to be. And it turned out, no, I didn't want to be left out, because I was going to be going from a house of 5, 6 people in the house at all the time. There's never no one there, to me. And sometimes my dad and brother comes over. And I didn't want that. So I remember going to my mum, bursting into tears, told her everything, because I hadn't told her for the 2 years. I hadn't told her anything that was happening. I hadn't told her I went to this new school. I hadn't told her a thing. So I burst into tears, told her everything. She was well, what do you want to do? It's up to you. You're 16. She was kind of hurt because my birthday's in the start of the year, and we went to London for my sweet 16 instead of having a party. And she kind of felt betrayed because not long after that, I came out of saying that I'm going to move and all this. But it turns out I didn't want to move, so I told Mum that I really don't want to move. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt Dad because he's done a lot of effort to make this work. I felt really bad for basically saying no. And because I'm such a dad's girl, I didn't want to hurt him. So being 16, the only thing I knew what to do was text. And that is kind of the wrong thing to do. I should have just phoned him. But being 16, that's what you do. You text everybody. You don't call anyone. That's not normal for a 16-year-old. So I text him, and I basically text him saying, I'm really, really sorry, Dad, or Daddy, because I call him Daddy. I don't call him that anymore. I call him Neil. But then I was calling him Daddy. So I was like, I'm sorry, Daddy, I can't do this. It's too much to be living on my own. I'm only 16. Yada, 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 yada. Basically sent him a text and explaining everything. And I was really sorry. I know you've done so much work. And sent it. And I'm not even kidding, maybe 5 minutes later, he sent a really, really nasty text. And I don't remember exactly, but I always remember the main points of it. He said I was selfish, I was ungrateful, I was a little brat. All the names understand you could probably think of was in this one text. He was calling me everything. He was saying I've wasted 6 months of his life doing this for him, that's very nice. So, yeah, that's what the text got back. And my mum said to me, well, you can text him back, but I wouldn't if I were you. So I didn't. And I left it. I just ignored him. I ignored his text because it was really hard for me to go back on that, because before this, my dad had never lashed out. He'd never screamed or shouted at me. He'd never even told me off in the slightest. So to have from really cool cucumber dad to flip out dad in the space of 2 seconds was unsettling for me. So I just ignored the text. I didn't ignore it, I knew what it said, but I ignored the text. I didn't answer him. And it was that was it. That was the relationship ended. And I tried to make a new relationship with my mum. And this is when me and Mum's relationship really started, which is kind of sad, thinking it could have started years ago. If my dad if he lost his cool back then I could have been a total mama's girl and done shopping things with my mum and been really clingy and close. But I was always a daddy's girl. And so this was 2013 of about February, March time. And I didn't speak to my dad until November or very, very late October, which was a week before my brother actually died. And that was the very first time I spoke to him. And it was the Sunday before my brother died. So my brother died on a Saturday, and it was the Sunday before. And that was the last time my dad seen my brother alive, and the two of us before he died. So it was a big deal, and I kind of forgave him. I didn't really forgive him. Like, I try to forgive and forget, but if it's family, it's a different story because it's your family. So I'm gonna have to really wrap this up soon because my little thing's not flashing, but tell me I've only got so many minutes left. This is gonna be a really long video. I'm really sorry, but it's a story time video, so hopefully you like it. So then we spoke to each other, and I kind of forgave him, not for the sake of me, for the sake of my brother and sister, because they hadn't seen him that long as well, and I felt bad because they were basically sticking up for me, and that's what we do. The three of us always stuck together. If one person was wrong to us, they were wrong to all of us. That was the Three Musketeers thing. So we kind of fell back in, and after my brother died, it was a weird relationship after that anyway. We'd only see him every Saturday, once a month, and that was pretty much it. And we'd see our little brother and all that. Then, so this was 2013. Flash forward to 2016. In March of 2016, it was a normal thing. So we'd been doing the same thing, see each other one Saturday every month for all those years. And in 2016 of March, I don't know what happened, but one day he phoned us saying, I'm on my way to get Cameron, my little brother, and I will swing back round and get you, and we'll meet Joanne. And Joanne is his girlfriend, and personally she never done anything wrong to me, but to my little sister she felt quite hurt for her being there, because the deal was it was him, Cameron and us two, and that was it. And it was only one Saturday. It didn't have to be like that. Every other day of the month he could see her whenever he liked and all that, which was fine. And so let me fix this. And so he phoned saying that my sister was on him, was phoning, and she said, why is she here? And they got into an argument and all that, and he swore at her. And when I heard him swore at her, I grabbed the phone and started shouting at him. And he said, well, I'm coming round anyway. And he kept phoning me, and I was ignoring him because I was really angry, so was my sister. And he kept phoning me, and he sent a text saying, if you don't answer your phone, I'll come round and I'll kick your door in until your mum has to phone the police. So, what do you think Mum's going to do? She phoned the police several times, and I think 3 police officers came over, and, well, he started kicking the door in. And I live in a little cottage, so you can imagine it's not very stable when you start kicking doors in. The microwave nearly fell off one of the worktops. Like, my little sister was in the living room, she had no idea what was going on. We told her to go upstairs and play in her room, she didn't know what was doing anything. My little brother was in his car across the road, very, very scared. And the police came over and arrested him, because that's what you need to do. You're kicking somebody's door in, you look like a crazy ex, so yeah. So he got arrested and had to stay in jail for the weekend, and he had to get a court date and all that. And my little brother got to come in the house for like 5 minutes to see us, and that was the last time we ever seen a brother. And it's been over a year now. We've not seen him, we've not heard from him, we've tried to get in contact so many times. So we're just kind of hoping and praying when he turns 13 he'll get Facebook and find us. And then that's when we can have a relationship again, which is going to be like another 4 years, which is not very fun. But that is pretty much, that's the story of why I do not speak to my dad, because of this. It was that scenario, that very, very end, that made us think, is this really worth it? And is it worth us always being hurt because he wants attention all the time? So I haven't seen my brother for a year, I haven't seen my dad for a year. But the start of this month, he texted me saying basically, oh, love and miss you so much, hope you're doing well, kiss kiss, does that thing. And told my sister, because it was kind of addressed to her too. She was so angry, and I was angry, sad, confused, like, you disowned us like a year ago, basically, so then why would you come back in our life? It confused us all. I go to a CBT class once a week, and I've kind of been fine with it. Not fine with it, but like coping with it. That's probably the better word. And so there, that is basically what happened over a year ago, and that is why I do not speak to my dad. I still don't want to speak to my dad. We basically counted our stepdad as our dad now. If we ever get married, he'll take us down there, because, and if I have kids, which I really do want to have kids at some point, they won't have Neil as their grandparent. They'll have my stepdad, which will be called Papa. Because we used to, when we were younger, we used to say, we'll have a Papa and a Papa Nick, because that's my stepdad's name. So, and he'll just have a Papa. And if my dad ever, which he'll probably never, ever gets in my kid's life, he'll be called Neil, and that'll be it. He won't be called anything else, because he isn't anything else to me anymore. And I've learned to cope with that. And I go to CBT every week, and I'm learning to cope with it. And that's all I can do. So, I'm going to go. I'm going to go and edit this. I have figured out how to do a thumbnail. Hallelujah. I need to be on a laptop. So I figured that out. So hopefully you enjoyed this story time. It's a little bit different. If you like it, like the video. And let me know other things that you want me to talk about, because I have so many different things that I could talk about. A lot of things. There's not just dad stuff. There is friend stuff. There is relationship stuff. The list goes on forever. So, if you want to see any of that stuff, I will do it in our story time. And next week, hopefully, fingers crossed, my apps don't bug out of me again, will be a vlog. But if it's not, I'll do another sit down video, and I'll explain why the video mucked up again. Hopefully it doesn't. So I'll see you next week with the vlog, fingers crossed. So, bye!